Good morning. This is class number 389. It is July 14th. I want to start with something that I shared with you guys a long time ago. I don't even remember the date, but I called it 4 points for success in life. And I got it from Joel Goldsmith's writings. It was some very powerful writing. And sometimes when you go back and you take a look at stuff that you've written, stuff that you read, you shared it with somebody 2 or 3 years ago, and then you pick up something in your room and this little sheet falls out and you look at it and go, oh, wow. And you look at it and you say, this is where we are now. It was where I was then, but not in consciousness. It was where I was then as far as statements, as far as this word is truth, as far as what they call the letter of the law. But once you reach this space, which we've been talking about for the last at least 2 months, when you reach this particular space and you realize this is really where we are right now. And I keep saying we, and I don't say where I am because there's only one I. And so that we is I. So everybody is at this particular point, and when they just start thinking about it, they start to see, oh, wow, these things are happening now, and this stuff that used to be happening is not happening anymore. I've moved on, and I didn't even know I had moved on. That's the beauty of God. So these successes, he says, we need to know with conviction. That's something we've been talking about, faith. Faith is the conviction of things expected, our expectations. You got to narrow down what our expectations are. Well, when you get to that, what I call senior level of consciousness, that fourth dimensional consciousness, you're expecting to act and think and talk a certain way. You're no longer sitting around expecting things. Take no thought becomes extremely important because you're not thinking about things and how to demonstrate things and how to get stuff to work right. You're sitting around thinking about, I expect to continually think and act and speak like I understand. And it was the action of things that are now in existence, and it is the revelation. That's a powerful word, of things not seen. So you're living off of a revelation that an action already took place that caused invisible reality, and you're convicted by it. So as we live out this conviction, the first statement that he made, meaning Joel, was, I am God. I exist as infinite spiritual consciousness, embodying within myself the divine idea, body, business, home, family, supply, and my very oneness with God constitutes my oneness with every spiritual idea. Carrying this knowledge into treatment, we realize that regardless of any appearance to the contrary, we are never separate or apart from any form of good. Now, that has to be a revelation. That can't be just some statement that you're saying. It has to be revealed within. And it is. It's just that, Mike was looking for something on the outside, and when he started looking totally within, it was revealed to him that you're never separate and apart from God. You're never separate and apart from your good. All the spiritual ideas, everything belongs to you. All things are yours. Number 2, my body is the expression of my spiritual self or being. It is the reflection of the I that I am. It is the image and likeness of me and manifests all of the health, harmony, and wholeness of the infinite spiritual consciousness which I am. Further, my business, profession, art, or practice likewise is idea, expression, or reflection of the qualities and activities of my real perfect being. always spiritually and fruitfully governed and supported. That's just powerful. I mean, so many are out here trying to get their art, trying to get their profession, their business to be what they want it to be, and they're not operating out of that consciousness that we talked about last week, already done. The Gospel of Thomas, when the two become one, already done. The feeling of the wish fulfilled. All of that stuff comes into play there, because as long as you're feeling that way, you're acting that way, you're talking that way, you're thinking that way, and you're carrying all that you are within you. And it is reflective. It is reflective as the body of your being, which includes business and profession and arts and practices and all the other stuff. Number 3, the nature of error. We have learned that the only error or evil is hypnotism, mesmerism, appearing as suggestion or mirage. That when we realize this, the so-called evil, the sin, the disease or the lack disappears. We know that error is never a person, place, or thing, just mesmerism appearing as person, condition, or circumstance. Mind or God, being infinite, is the substance and activity of all that appears to us for the moment as error. Now, this is probably the coldest of all of the statements, even though it's not cold, but it seems insensitive. It seems like you're being asked to totally ignore the fact that somebody is sick. But then again, that is what you're being asked to do, because if you know no sickness, you know that that same intelligence in you is in someone who appears to be sick, who appears to be dying. And the hardest part of all of that was the fact that in November I went through this situation and I wasn't thinking this way. And yet, every day when it comes upon me that my wife is gone, it's like, gone where? You keep looking at as though somebody was born and grew up and grew older and got sick and passed away, when in reality that's just mesmerism. It's hard to hold that from a human perspective, because the human is never going to understand that. But you, the spiritual being, realizing that you're not human. You are spiritual. And your experience out here appears to be human. But standing firm on this fact that mesmerism is constant all day long, all of the shootings, all of the despicable behavior from people who you expect to act like adults, you expect to represent your interests in this country, Congress and what have you. I can just understand the intelligence God within you saying, why are you expecting these people to act right? They're a mirage. What you're looking at is a mirage. God would never act like some of these people. God's not going to send people down on the Capitol and cause an insurrection. God's not doing any of that. But we're looking at it and we say, but it looks so real. Yeah, but it's not. It's not. My kingdom is not of this world. And then number 4, very important is the knowledge that the world of sense, that which we see, hear, taste, touch, and smell, that is, the structural sense of the universe, is not the spiritual eternal creation. It is but the finite shadow of God's creation. The key word there is finite. This wisdom enables us to drop the attempt to heal, correct, change, or improve the material sense of life, whether of man, animal, or plant, and thus set ourselves free to intuitively, here's the word, feel, become conscious of God's universe. This is the great secret of Jesus' statement, my kingdom, or my counsel, my advice, is not of this world, and the secret of John's world, not made with hands. Do not let go of any of these points until it is clear are clearly a reality to you, with you, within you. Now, as we talk, I've got a friend, good friend, out in California, sent me a text yesterday or night before last, something like that, and a picture of himself laying in the hospital. And he said, I'm in the hospital. And I said, why? And he said, a stroke. Now, this guy is a minister. He is vice president of the L.A. chapter of the of a civil rights organization, the National Action Network, Al Sharpton's organization. This guy's he preaches every week, but he thinks he's human, like everybody else. And so I sent him back, and I said, well, brother, I sent him the copy of the lost. This was kept secret. The Gospel of Thomas, which was not included in the King James Bible or any Bible, and Greg Brayton breaking down, feeling as though you already are what you're trying to do, what you're trying to be. You already are that. And it's difficult because we are close friends, but I have to feel that nothing happened to him. I have to feel that he is vibrant, not his outside body. That's a reflection. He, the I am awareness, the consciousness of the Christ, whom do men say that I am? That is who he is, and that can't have a stroke, and it can't suffer from a stroke. And I have to quit looking to see if he's getting better, because there's no part of him that can get better. There's only that which he is. And I'll get in touch with him today and just say, hey, man, I had such a great feeling about you, and all is well, my brother. I can't see it any other way. It's you have to dwell in the end. It appears to be really difficult, but again, that's an appearance. The reality of it all is you are the end. As he was in this world, so are we. And Jesus said, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. So I have to dwell in what I am, the beginning and the end. There is nothing else. There's nothing in between. And so how do I do this? I ask. And then there's this importunity part that people misunderstand. Ask and keep on asking. I don't mean with the mouth. I mean feel that I'm the I am. Feel it with all I got. Feel it. Not with my human head, but as in the Gospel of Thomas, when the two have become one, when the thought and the feeling, the emotion come together, creating that strong feeling in the heart that the male and female, conscious thought, conscious feeling, well, what am I thinking about? The moment that feeling is there, I can speak to the mountain. I can speak to the mesmerism. I can speak to the hypnotism. But what am I saying to the hypnotism? I know that you are error. Sometimes I don't even say it out loud. I'm just sitting there knowing and carrying this feeling with me all day. And when it goes away, I start looking for it. Feeling all is well. All is true. God is all there is. Just constantly feeling that things are already the way they are right now. And that, to me, is have faith in God. That means feel like you already are We can't separate ourselves from God because that's what's causing the effect that the mesmerism is having. We keep trying to train the human being not to go along with what he sees, hears, feels, smells, and tastes. And you can't get, for lack of a better term, you can't get the devil to quit being the devil. The devil is mesmerism. And the only way to destroy mesmerism is quit looking at it. Quit thinking about it. Quit thinking if I don't get this done, this might happen or that. We got to stop that. Well, the only I that can stop that is the I that I am that can look at it and know what it is. I know what's getting ready to happen when I'm coming down the street driving and I see the yellow light flash up. I don't think about, well, what will happen if it turns red and I go through. I don't think that. I just stop. This intelligence within us, is omniscient, is omnipresent, is omnipotent. This intelligence is called God, and the more we think about it, the more we expand our conscious awareness of it. Expansion. That's where we live, move, and have our being. We expand that which we're thinking about. So we're going to be very careful. Because when we see an errant thought, it's like when you're in your house and you see a mouse running through you. Whoa. Well, that's exactly what you're doing. Here comes a subtle mouse, a thought. You know, you better do, you need to worry about this. You need to, and that automatically, you know, hey, stop, no further. I am standing watch. I think that's a backup. Standing watch over my mind, watching what's trying to come in there because my mind is the mind of Christ, and I can't let that in. You see, this intelligence that we are knows exactly what its wish is, what its will is. God's will. Well, God wills and wishes to express its good as us. And then we, sons of God, one with God, agree with that from a feeling standpoint, and then it expresses our outer self that we see, that expresses harmoniously. And then what happens is we realize that we're doing nothing to make anything happen on the outside. We're just going down the road being who we are, living in the end, living in the I am, living in that attitude of I'm not listening to the mesmerism that's going on through the day. I look at it, I see it, and I go, God doesn't act like this. And I am God. And so, therefore, I can just keep that locked up on the inside of me, and that keeps me acting the way that I am. It's sort of like the dream I had of my wife helping me go down this path, and we end up at this door. And I'm going through this door. But Jesus said, I am the door. And so I'm saying, I'm the door that I was going through. I am the door. I realize now that there is nothing else except God. That's a revelation. And so you don't have to, with some human head, try to keep banging it. You'll never convince what we call the human being that God is all there is, because he's always going to have something else that, but what about this? But what about that? It's always going to be there. It just kind of reminds me that I have unconsciously lived that for years. I mean, I wasn't conscious that that was what I was doing. I was not conscious that that was how I got my first real job. Somebody said, well, you just in the right place at the right time. There's that mesmerism. There's the human being but I'm down there applying for a job at the Washtenaw County building in Ann Arbor, and a man walks up and has a job and asks me to come out and see him, and I do, and that was the job that I applied for, and boom, I got it immediately. And then within 7 months, I wanted to go to Ford. That was my whole attitude. I wanted to go to Ford Motor Company. And I was applying for jobs at Ford and trying to get in and what have you. And one day we were playing basketball up at the East Quadrant of the University of Michigan. And we were talking, and I was like, they were like, where you work? And I told them, and they said, oh, we work at Ford. I said, I've been trying to get into Ford. And the guy says, well, what have you been doing? I said, well, I applied for this job down at the Glass House, the corporate headquarters, and I've been applying, and I'm not getting any callbacks. He said, that's not how you get in Ford. I said, well, how do you get in Ford? He said, they have a minority recruiter. His name is Ted Campbell. Y'all ready for this? We're going over to his house on Friday night, and we're going to be playing cards. Just come on, go with us. I knew these guys for a while, but I hadn't known them. I wasn't just going anywhere with strangers. But, again, there I am in the right place at the right time. Well, let me let you know something here. You're always in the right place at the right time because you are the door. You are the right place at the right time. And that which you wish, because I felt like I was at Ford Motor Company. And I used to dream about it. Bang, I went right in there. This guy says, be down at my office on Monday morning at such and such a time. And I went there, and within a week to 10 days, I had a job at Ford Motor Company. I remember playing around and making an idiot of my mother's money at West Virginia State College. And finally, I decided after I had married Cynthia, I told her one day, I said, you know what? I'm going to graduate out of here. I'm tired of this. I said, I'm going to clean up all my quality points. I'm going to get all this stuff done. I could feel it. I'm like, I'm gone. I'm out of here. I said, and, I have X classes that I need to take. There are certain ones that I'm going to have to go to another school to make up for not being able to get it here at West Virginia State. There was another college about 8 miles away, and I needed to go there called Morris Harvey. And I went there and took a class in history. I had to take 2 classes to make up for one at West Virginia State. That's okay. I don't care what I got to do. I'm out of here. But the thing that inspired me, and I didn't even know this is what I was doing, but every night, I didn't ask God to let me graduate. I didn't ask God to let things work, to fix it so I could, get good grades and give me the, let me clean up this and let me do that. I didn't ask any of that. Every night before I went to bed and every morning before I went to class, I prayed, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven, and so on and so on. And I just said, I want to graduate now. And I just felt like I can do this. I just kept feeling like I'm graduating. I'm getting out of here. This is it. And 2 semesters later, I was gone. And got to Ann Arbor, got a new job. After I got that job, my cousin and I packed up everything, came back to West Virginia State, packed up all our stuff, picked up Cynthia, and that was the end of that. It was done. God's will, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven, within as without. And I wrote this down because it was just such a wonderful statement. Let's see, I'm turning to that page where it says, God's will is for understanding, for faith. It is nothing that is hurtful. It is nothing that is going to be troublesome for us. God's will is that we understand who we are. We need to cooperate with it. And instead of working against these internal laws, we are understanding and being very sensitive to the fact that God wants this for himself. And we're just in agreement with it, and things have just really worked out. You know, what do I want for my child? Well, that's what God wants for me. His will is for us to have health, prosperity, understanding, peace, and harmony within ourselves and with others. Now, it can't be any more succinct than that. To me, that's just powerful. That's what God wishes. And we're out here trying to get God to give us a car, to give us a job, to demonstrate things, give us a husband or a wife, give us millions of dollars. You know, and it's like, that's not God's will. God's will is what I just read, that we have understanding and faith and peace and harmony, right relationships with people, that we get along with everybody. And the only way to do that is not try to appease somebody's personality, because that's not going to help us one bit. Because they're going to show you that they just cannot get along with you. You just always one word, one statement away from touching somebody the wrong way, and now you have an issue. So the best thing for you to do is realize, I am getting along with myself. I am understanding God's will. I am dwelling in the end. I am the end. I am the peace and the understanding. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. And as long as I'm walking around feeling that and thinking that, I'm not going to offend anybody. And the second thing is, I'm not going to go out of my way to try to teach anybody anything. I tried that. Look how that turned out. So we're done with that. I don't even try to teach my kids. I just share. You know, that's it. And they come back. Jamal shocked me the other day. We were talking something. I forget what we were talking about. He said, "Oh, you mean like laws of attraction?" I said, Who are you, and what did you do with Jamal? You know, it's like when you talk with him, he's got all this technical knowledge and all this stuff of how stuff works out here in this world, and ding, 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 ding. And then for him to turn right around and go, "Oh, you mean like laws of attraction, how you just draw from within yourself that which you know, it's like you feel you can do." He said, that's what I did. That's how I was laid off, furloughed for 2 years. And one day I just sat down and I realized, this is what I want. This is what I have. A job where I go in 9 to 5, where I don't have to change shifts, and I don't have to break myself down, lifting all heavy speakers and setting up stuff and moving stuff around in hotel rooms and all this for the audio-visual portion of all of this. He said, and that's exactly what I got. The only part I was off is I work 9 to 5:30, not 9 to 5. And so that's what I'm talking about. He felt it. He said laws of attraction. He drew from within him that which was already done, and all he did was felt it. That is the answered prayer. But the thing where we go wrong is we start trying to make it happen, as opposed to marrying the thought with our feeling without any kind of hidden judgment. You know, as he said in the tape, as Greg Braden said in his clip, you know, the people were not there saying this cancer is bad, this sickness is could be unto death, people die from it. They weren't saying bad cancer. They were just going wasa, which is a Buddhist term, wasa. And what that meant was already done. Then they went, me? which meant now. I don't have to change this body from a cancerous body to one that is whole. God's will is that we understand that we're one with him and the mesmerism does not exist as a reality. So that feeling without any hidden judgment, without any hidden fear, that's what I call it. I might die if I don't fix this. We are enveloped in the feeling of the answer. It's already done. That's what Greg says in that. That's what Thomas said. You are enveloped in the feeling that it is already done, and that's when you can say to the mountain of mesmerism, move. And it has to obey you. The kingdom of heaven is within. I was sitting on the sitting out there. I got this big wicker chair that I love, and I was sitting in it, quiet. I thought I was watching TV, but my mind just went real clear, and I heard this voice say, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And I immediately said, well, if the kingdom of heaven is within me, I am in heaven. But what do I have in heaven? Well, I have health and wholeness, wealth, prosperity, success. I know what I can or can't do in heaven. And what is it that I can't do? I can't be sick. I can't die. I can't be poor. I can't fail. Then I asked the question, well, what can God do, or what is it God can't do in heaven? And it was like, God can't do any of those things. God can't get sick. God can't die. God can't be afraid. So God's will, God's wish in heaven, we already said that. We read that a few minutes ago, is that we understand that we have the perfect relationship with our Father, which is the perfect relationship with our neighbor, which is everybody on the face of the globe. So if I recognize that when I see you or anybody else, all I'm looking at is the intelligence that is animating a body, something that I see, and even when it when it looks like it doesn't feel well, or when it looks sick, or when it looks stooped, or when it looks hurt, I know that there's no reality to that. I got to keep feeling like that. I can't just look at it and go, oh, this ain't real. How many people do that? Make statements, this ain't real. Yeah, okay, good luck with that. You will not succeed in just doing that. The only success you will ever have is the feeling of the conviction that I am dwelling in the end, and the end is I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I am life. I am not death. I am life. I am not sickness. I am life. I am not broke. I'm not poverty. Those are mesmerisms. Those are suggestions that are coming from the imp on our shoulder, whispering, you got to do something about this. And, I can't hide behind the fact that, when my wife was here, she had X dollars coming in Social Security, and that matched with mine. We were safe. That was the tip of the iceberg. The berg was under the water. When she passed, we're going to take away about 75% of whatever she had coming in. What? Yeah, that's your survivor benefit. Oh, she made you beneficiary of her retirement, but you can only have 60% of it. That's just, well, wait a minute. What happened to the rest that she poured into it? What happened to the rest that she poured all in Social Security? Well, we just see, and people running around, I love this country and I love this. I cannot believe that was what God had in mind for us, that we depend on Social Security, that we depend on some retirement benefits that are, those retirement benefits that she put money in, that was 28 years ago. The world is totally different from when it was she started taking that out. But it's no different in the way they take it back. And so you can't depend on that. That's mesmerism. God depends on Social Security to keep you. Good luck with that. In him we live. In him we move. In him we have our being. What does that make us? him. That's what that makes us. That's how we are to take no thought. By being who we are in him, in Christ, having the mind of Christ, then how can we be taking thought about how we're going to get our next meal? How we're going to pay this? And you look and you see so many different classes of people which fit that situation I said last week. Few there be that find what I'm talking about right now. Because they've been trained to think, oh, no, you're not God. Oh, no, you're going to have these tribulations and trials. Jesus said it right there. But nobody takes time to realize that what he meant by you will have tribulation in this world is that this thing that we call the human mind is going to constantly be bombarding you with, what about this? What about that? You need to do this about how you going to make it. That whole thing, that's the tribulation. I mean, remember, Jesus walked past a whole bunch of people who was sick and walked to a man who was down there trying to do something about it. I start seeing that a different way. He ignored the people who weren't trying to do something about it, and he went to the man who was trying to do something about it, and he saw intelligence within that man, which was God. And dwelling in the end, Jesus said, get up, take up your bed, go and sin no more. But what was his sin? He thought he was separate from God. The woman caught in adultery. What was her sin? She thought she was separate from God. Where is our attention? Is our attention on that which is, and only that which is the truth? Is that where our attention is, or is our attention on, oh, man, I'm sick, I got to do this, I got to take all these vitamins, if I don't go jogging every day, I'll gain weight. It took a whole lot for me to understand. You got to do this just because you like it. You used to like to play basketball. You weren't trying to play basketball every day to keep from gaining weight. And look at how many people are jogging and working out and going to the gym every day, and they still have the same weight. None of it's going off. Say, well, that's because they don't believe. Nope. No. That's because they're paying attention to what the world says you have to do in order to be healthy. That's what they're doing. There are no problems in God. Remember when Jesus said, what did hinder you? There's nothing except what you wish to do. That's all there is. And when you wish to do it, feeling like it's done, that's it. There are no problems. There is no solution to a problem if in God there is no problem. So the way to explain solution is this. I am the answer. I am the end. You're focusing on the problem, you just keep expanding it, which means we're expanding nothing. How do we remove darkness from a room? We turn on the light. And so we really didn't, we just cut the light on and darkness leaves. Well, what happens when we realize I am the light? The darkness of what we call devil, mesmerism, egotism, hypnotism. Is God hypnotized? Is God mesmerized? No. I mean, last night I had this dream, and it's like I dreamed it all night long. And I'm sitting there in this dream. Actually, now that I think about it, I really didn't see me. I just heard words and words in the dream. And it was like, I am the answer. And I realized that it's the truth that Lillian DeWater said. The answer, the problem, and the solution. And she explains it as, I am the answer. The problem is human experience, human existence. And the solution is the problem gets swallowed up in the answer. when you start out knowing that the answer is 24 and the problem is 6 times 4, then you know that the solution is I am the answer, and the 6 times 4 gets swallowed up in 24. The solution? Well, they taught us how to do multiplication. Well, they taught us how to be swallowed, to have the answer swallow up our problem. It was like, I don't care what your problem is, you are always the answer, and the answer always consumes the solution. So the first thing we have to understand, and I had written this down over a year ago when I first listened at that Gospel of Thomas. And Greg Braden summed it all up. And I wrote this down. And again, I was looking for a notebook to write my notes in that I wanted to share with you guys today. When I picked this up and opened it up right on the page where I had written down what Greg Braden said. Prayer is not voicing requests, but feeling the answer. And Isaiah 65:24, before they call, I will answer. I have answered. Well, nobody can answer it but me. There's no God separate from me. That whole prodigal son story is nothing more than the man realizing I am one with God. But again, our imagination from a human standpoint shows us a man getting up out of a pigsty and going home, and on the way home, another man comes out and meets him. But Revelation gives us that the man was his own answer. And the solution was, I need to feel that if I'm back with my Father, which I never separated from, then that means the will of God has been done in me. I feel this. I know this. This is the answer. The two, thought and feeling, agree. And the conscious mind of Christ, male and female, when we feel this, we are asking from inside my name, inside my nature. We are totally enveloped in the feeling, surrounded by the feeling. And in this case, we seek and find the kingdom of God, kingdom of peace. We feel we already have it. So we can say, be thou removed. That eerie feeling, the mesmerism, because we're enveloped in the feeling that we're home in God. We never left. We were never separate. The second step, well, first of all, we declare that intent. What is my intention? To feel the reality of this is what I am, who I am, and I've never left it. Number two, I've already trapped. I've trapped God. I'm one with God. I give thanks. It's already done. I've seen and felt the end. And I'm now willing the means. The means of the solution. I am swallowing up the solution because the problem of human existence or human appearance is nothing more than mesmerism. The solution is, I see this for what it is. This is mesmerism. I am the truth. I am the life. And the last step is I seal the prayer in trust, faith, and truth. I am the prayer. I am the request. I am the feeling. I am that which is already done. Be it unto me according to thy word. That's the key, to realize I am dwelling in the end. And the end is None of this stuff that I'm looking at, that I'm seeing, that I'm feeling is a reality. It's just mesmeric suggestion. It's going to be constant, but my job is let all else go and follow me. Follow my intuition. Follow that which I am. I am one with God. I am dwelling in the end. And so with God, so with me. I am enveloped in the feeling. I'm surrounded by it. My ways are past finding out. The grace just comes forth. In the nature, in that feeling surrounding us, the name of Jesus Christ. So it is. Amen.